Hey guys, very good evening to all of you. Okay, fine. I will wait for 2 more minutes. Then we'll start with the session. Okay, guys. So let's start with the session. Okay, so I think, guys, yesterday we have created, let's say, till the summary of this particular problem statement. Where we are discussing about that how to understand, let's say, the nature for like a defaulter. Okay, so the main purpose of this let's say this data set, or the main purpose, guys, of this the main requirement of the client to understand the nature of the defaulter, and definitely to even let's say they understand the difference between the behavior of defaulters and non-defaulters, so that they can actually make a decision like for any next like a customer, for any new customer, that whether their loan application can be approved, or whether their loan application can be rejected. Okay. Now, you can see, guys, that in this particular like a report page, we have added like lot of like KPIs, and definitely with the help of these KPIs, the manager will get the first hand introduction of this particular data set, like the total number of applications are there, then total amount which is like funded so far, the total like amount which is actually received so far, then the average interest rate, average GTI. Now all these guys are actually a very important factor like for the like manager to understand. Then definitely the default rate is one of the like a most important factor to understand that what is the default rate right now. And definitely guys, for any bank or for any financial sector, the main goal or the main requirement is that they want to reduce this default rate. Okay, so right now it is 13%, 30 around 14%. They definitely want to make it like 10%, 5%, or even less than that. Okay. We also have guys the recovery rate over here. Now this is something which definitely they want to improve. They want to make it like more bigger. Okay. So now guys, in order, so till now we just got the description of our data set, like what are all the information, so what are all the insights which is there into our data set. That is what guys we are able to figure out, we are able to extract right now. Okay. Now going forward guys, as I already told you that the data analysis thing or the data analysis concept is actually divided into four parts, where the second thing is to perform the exploratory analysis and then the diagnostic analysis. Okay. Now that is what guys we are going to perform, or we are going to create, let's say, some more relations, some more charts, and then we are even try to understand that, let's say, if something is happening or if some like a result we are getting, so what may be the possible reason behind it. Okay, so that is going to be our next thing. But even guys, this particular page is not yet completed because if I talk about guys any like a report page, so any report page guys should definitely contain let's say some slicers, so that dynamically it will work dynamically for like the client, for the manager, so that at any point of a time, if we want to check like a data or the information for a particular category, so yes, he can actually check that out. Okay, so what I will do guys, I will add two slicers over here. So I think, okay, I've taken a card right now. I will add two slicers. And guys, I hope that I've already uploaded this into like the drive. So maybe you guys have already created all these like cards till now. Okay. So I think guys, I think we have created all these things yesterday itself. I've just added this text box on the top just to make sure that the title should also be there on the top. Okay. So I'm going to add the slicer over here, which make this whole page more dynamic. Okay, so I will add two more slicers over here. And again, guys, we'll take a similar like a size, so that both the slicers can be added over here itself. Okay, I think reduce the size. This is fine, and I think this is also okay. So I just try to align it with that with the cards whatever we have. Okay. Now over here, guys, we can try to add let's say two slicers, because that is what like the space we have right now. So I will simply add two slicers over here. So the first slicer, guys, I'm going to add is going to be the term. Okay. So that is one thing, guys, which we didn't use so far. So I'm going to use the term over here. Now we know that the term are actually having the two categories. So like a few customer has taken the loan for 3 years, and a few actually taken it for like 5 years. Now guys, definitely with the help of the slicer, we can simply click on it and we can see that like how many customers has taken the loan for 3 months, and how many customer has taken it for, let's say, sorry, 3 year and 5 year. Okay, so you can see guys that out of 38,000 like loan applications, maximum loan application, guys. Okay, so you can see that around 28,000 loan applications actually come for actually come for like 3 years only. And if I talk about, guys, this 5 years, so in that case, guys, it is just 10,000. Okay, and you can see the other variables also if it is changes. Okay, so even, guys, in the five, so you can even see, guys, multiple things over here. So in case of like 6 months, sorry, in case of three like year 36 months, so you can see that the fully paid customers are actually more. It is 89.2%. Okay, whereas charge of customer is reduced to 10.71%. Okay, so overall percentage, guys, is 13%, 13.8, but it reduces to let's say 10.7%. And similarly, guys, if I try to talk about that 5 years, so in that 5 year, guys, you can see that the charge of customer actually increases. Okay, it means that long tenure. Okay, so if the customer has taking a loan for a longer tenure, then that would be a bit risky over here. Okay, so you can see that the fully paid customer actually reduces to 67%. Okay, so from 86 percent they reduces to 67%, and whereas the charge of customer, guys, they actually increase from 13% to let's say 22%. Okay, and you can see the other values also, definitely the other numbers also like increases over here. Okay, so this is what we can actually check over here. We can understand from the term. And similarly, guys, one more very important column, a categorical column is there, which we have not used so far, is something called as a verification status. Okay, so this can also be used, guys, because definitely, let's say for giving a loan, the bank is first trying to verify that whether the person is legitimate or not. Now, it is possible, guys, that in some cases in some cases bank is not trying to verify. Okay, wait, I think there's some problem of like into my system, so it automatically got shut down. Okay, fine. So I think since it's automatically got shut down, so the text box which I think I have created just now before starting the session, it is not like appearing over here because definitely that particular part is not saved. Fine, but I think that that's not a very big deal. That is something which we can you guys can definitely like create. I think we are talking about the slicers which can be added over here. So let me just try to add those two slicers over here first. Now this is the first slicer we have, and similarly we can have the second slicer over here. So let me just do one thing. So now this is fine, and similarly the another slicer can be created of the same size and width. Now into this slicer, I can in the first one I can try to put my the loan term. Okay, so this is what we can add into the first slicer. And in the second one, guys, we can try to add. Okay, so I think about like a term we have already discussed why it is important. In the second one, guys, I can try to add, let's say, the verification status. Okay. Now, guys, again, this verification status play a very important role because yeah, that I think the thing which we have discussed, like definitely before giving a very huge amount of a loan, let's say to anyone, the bank always trying to verify that whether the person or whether yeah, definitely whether the customer is legitimate or not. Okay. Now, in that case, guys, definitely if that let's say if you are approving a very large amount of a loan, and the bank or let's say the financial sector, if they're not trying to understand, if they are not trying to verify let's say the status of a customer, that whether they are legitimate or not, now definitely guys that can create a problem. Okay, so it might be a possibility that the person can do the default maybe later on. Now, in that case, guys, we can probably check it over here that just by using the slicer over here, I can check that whether there is more number of defaulter. Okay, so we can probably check that if there's an impact of like the verification status on to the like a defaulter or not. Okay, so we can try to check that if the if they're not verified, so in that case whether we have more number of defaulters or it is actually same. Okay, so that is what, guys, we can try to check from this slicer over here. Okay, so you can see that there are three things over here for into the verification status, means three categories are there. One is not verified. Okay, it means that you just approve the loan without verification. Then the second is source verified. It means that bank or the particular institute they didn't directly trying to verify the that customer. They just hire, let's say, the mid person, and that mid person or maybe through some like a legitimate source, you try to verify the like a status of a person. And similarly, guys, the last one is verified. It means that if the bank or the institute directly trying to verify the status. Okay. Now we can try to check that if there is any like if there's a much gap between um, the default rate and let's say the recovery rate, if the verification status is not verified and if it is verified. Okay. Now if I run it, let's see, guys, that what are the changes are there. So you can see, guys, that there are 16,000 loan applications are there, which is actually not verified. Okay, so the bank or the institute actually approve 16,000 applications without like any verification. Now, in that case, you can see, guys, that what is the total funded amount and how much amount is being received. Now, in that case, guys, you can also see the default rate. So default rate is actually reduced to 12.2%. If you check the fully paid customer, guys, so I think it is same. It is 86.42, which is like for the original data set. And even, guys, the charge of customer is actually reduces to 12.24%, which is I think 13 percent something. Okay. Now we can even see guys this check the source verified. So you can see guys that there are 9.7 thousand applications has been approved after doing the source verification. Now in that case guys, again you can see the total funded amount and total amount received, the difference into that. Now in that case guys, you can see that default rate is actually increases. Okay, so it becomes 14.1%, so it not increases a lot. Okay, so 30, from 13.8 it becomes 14.2 or 14.1. So it is quite like fine guys, similar. Okay, but yeah, but yeah, it definitely increases guys. If I talk about if I compare it with the previous category that is not verified. Okay, so because in the not verified guys, that default rate is 12.2% something. Okay, even guys, you can see that fully paid customer, now this number decreases to 82.8% from 86%. And the charge of customer guys also increases from to like 14%. Okay, now we can see guys the verified status. Now you can see, you can check guys that out of that 38.5 thousand applications, 12.3% applications has been approved after proper verification. In that case guys, you can see the total funded amount and total amount received. Now in that case guys, you can see that the default rate is actually a bit higher, it is 15.7%. Whereas guys, the fully paid customers are actually reduced to 79.5%. Okay, so it means guys that we cannot so this is quite interesting and a quite different information we are getting it over here. So it means guys that wherever the bank is saying that they properly verified the customer, in that case guys, there's more the default rate is bit higher in comparison to the not verification. It means that whatever the claim the bank or the organization are making about the verification, that is actually not true, because in that verification itself, there's a more error, there's more like a default rate. Okay, now we can try to simply change the format guys over here. So I think in this particular page, this particular slicer setting is actually fine. If I change it to the tile, I think yeah, for the term it is fine, but again for the verification status it doesn't look good, because there are three categories. So yeah, we can even take it like this guys, that also works. The term, I can simply try to write it as term. I can bring it into the middle and make it bold, change the color to blue, and slightly increase the size. Okay, now there's a small term in the middle, I can just try to remove it. Now the same thing guys, the same format, I can try to copy it over here. Now we know that okay, so it is copied, but title we need to change. The title is verification status. Now that's fine. So we are getting this result into this format tile. Okay. So if it doesn't look cool, guys, so we can even change it to the same like a word text. Okay. So now, guys, definitely it doesn't matter like whether you are creating the first page or the second page. And even in the first page, since we have added like so many important information. Okay. So the client or the manager will get so many numbers over here, like when you're clicking on to this 36 month, and when you're clicking on to this 60 months. Okay, so definitely guys, they're getting a lot of information over here. So definitely this along with the slicer guys, this whole page become more dynamic and more informative for the client. Okay, so I think the other thing guys, we have already discussed and like created earlier. So along with the creation, we discussed that what is the benefit of those KPIs which we have created, and I hope that now this like slicers are also like clear to everyone, and you can even understand the importance of this slicer over here. Yeah, guys, is it done for everyone? I think adding slicer is not like a big deal for you guys. So is it done for guys, everyone? Yeah, any doubt or question, guys, and even any query from like the previous session? Yeah, please. Okay. Now, guys, moving on, let's try to come on to the next page. Now, into this page, guys, we'll try to talk about more about the risk analysis. Okay. Now let's see, guys, that what are the charts. Okay, so again, guys, I told you that you can also think of let's say some of the analysis, some of the charts from your end. Okay, now into this page, guys, I think I told you that into this data set, since we want to understand the behavior of defaulters. Now in that case, guys, if I really want to understand the behavior of the defaulters and make some valuable suggestion or make some valuable let's say the advice for my client. Now in that case, guys, I can actually look after now even guys this grade thing like into the summary page whatever we have created, like guys this related to the grade like a different grade values. Now guys, this particular information also play a very important role, because even guys the client can understand that okay like based on a grade they can actually understand or they can actually decide that which customer they can provide the loan and which customer they can actually deny their loan application. Okay, so over here, guys, this information is again very important. Now going forward, guys, so this is also like a part of your risk analysis. Now going forward, guys, we can look after another like a columns, another like a similar type of a column where we can talk about we can based on like a different category we can try to check their let's say the status. Okay, so like guys, over here we have one column as home ownership. Okay, now if I talk about guys this column as home ownership, now you can see, guys, that like the customers over here the total if I talk about the overall customer, so some customers, guys, are actually having this kind of ownership mortgage. Then like for some customer, guys, like they didn't define their like in what kind of a home or in what kind of a house they are living in. Then we have other option. Then we have, guys, own, and then we have rent. Okay, it means that the customer living into their own house, they're having their own house, and then we also have, guys, the other option where I can see that the customer living onto the rent. Okay, so this is what, guys, we are getting. Now we can, guys, again try to make some assumption at like in advance. So let's say over here I can try to make an assumption that maybe the customer who are living on a rent or the customer who are living on a mortgage, for these customer, guys, the default rate is maybe a bit higher. Okay, maybe because they are having less financial stability in comparison to the customer who are living onto their own house. Now this is, guys, just an assumption. Now it might be a possibility that this assumption can be reversed, this assumption can be completely wrong, but this is so guys at the initial stage. Okay, so that is where, guys, that's what I told you, that you can try to create like a few charts from your end, because as a data analyst, guys, we need to make some assumptions or these kind of assumptions in advance. Okay, now definitely, guys, this assumption play a very important role, because until unless you are not capable enough to make the assumptions, or until unless you are not capable enough to like make these kind of let's say the assumptions, you are not able to let's say think about the kind of a chart, or think about the kind of like a graph or maybe something which can definitely like help the manager to understand. Okay, so definitely over here we can think of this assumption, and then with the help of the chart we can try to understand that whether this assumption is true or not. Okay, similar way, guys, you have another like a column over here, like if I try to find out the, so in this case, guys, I can try to find the relation between home ownership and the default rate which we have created just now. Similarly, guys, we can try to understand the relation between the purpose and the default rate. Now, guys, in the purpose, you even get like a lot of like more purpose. Okay, like um, you can see guys that there are maybe 10 or 12 purpose we have, like the customer has taken the loan for like a car, the customer has taken a loan for credit card, then there's even we have a customer who has taken the loan for debt cancellation. Okay, so they have some prior debt, and for that they have created, they have taken a loan. Then we have the loan guys for the educational purpose, for home improvement, for house, for major purchase, for medical, for moving, for other, then for renewable energy, for small business, for vacation, for wedding. Okay, so again, guys, we can try to check that for which purpose the default rate is actually high. Okay, so all these and again, guys, over here also you can try to make an assumption that maybe for a small business or maybe for debt consolidation the default risk is higher. Now that is what, guys, we can try to cross check, we can try to cross verify by using let's say some kind of a chart. Okay, so now, guys, let's try to plot let's say these two things which we have discussed right now. So in order to plot it, guys, let's see that what kind of a chart we can use. So, guys, we have one categorical data, and let's say I want to see the default rate let's say for a different home ownership and for a different purpose. So what kind of a chart, guys, we can check, because I can see, guys, that the into the purpose, guys, there are so many purposes. Although into the home ownership there are just 4 or 5 categories. Okay, so I think, guys, for the home ownership we can use a simple clustered column chart also. But for the purpose, guys, we need actually the bar chart over there. Okay, so we actually require a similar kind of a chart at least to analyze these two relationships. Now let's see that how we can do that. So I will first take, guys, this clustered bar column chart, and I will first try to analyze, let's say, the relation between the what I can say, the home ownership and the default rate. So there's a column called home ownership, I guess. Yeah. So I can try to drag and drop it onto the x-axis. And then, guys, we have the default rate over here. Now I can try to put it on the y-axis. Now, guys, you can see that we are getting this output. Now, again, guys, we can try to perform bit of formatting over here so that the data label can be on. Even the value can be bold. Okay, so all these things, guys, we are doing because we know that this needs to look perfect over here. Similarly, guys, I think we don't require the value on the y-axis, so I can get rid of it. We definitely require the value for the x-axis, so I can try to just make it bold, and that's fine. Similarly, guys, the title we can try to update. So right now it is default road rate by home ownership, and that is, I think, fine. We can simply try to change the color so that it should matches with our other pages, and I think that's fine. I can see, guys, that what is happening over here. Now we can clearly understand that where for which particular category the default rate is actually high. So for the other category, means let's say the customer even let's say, guys, the customer didn't like disclose this information, that whether they are living on a rent or whether they are living on a mortgage or whether they are having their own house. Okay, so in that case, guys, you can see that the default rate is actually high. Okay, apart from that, guys, for the other category it is somewhat similar. Okay, so after that, guys, we are getting the rent. Now the customer, guys, like living on a rent, for those customer, again, the default rate is actually high. Now we can even understand this particular problem, guys, that definitely on a monthly basis, if you're giving a rent for your house, and if the rent is, let's say, maybe a bit higher, now along with that, guys, giving so you are already giving, let's say, some amount of a rent, and then along with that you need to even give the EMI or like whatever the like a loan you have taken, so you have to even give that EMI. So definitely, guys, in that case, it is a bit difficult to maintain both the like a balance, and in that way, guys, we can observe that definitely maybe the customer are not able to repay the amount or not able to repay the like EMI over there. Okay, and that's why we have like more defaulter into the rent for the rent category. Okay, it means the customer falling on a rent, the chances of default over there is bit higher in comparison to other category. Okay. Now, guys, in a similar way, just like we got this information, in a similar way, guys, we can try to get the information for a purpose, and then, guys, we'll try to discuss both in a detail. So I will first ask you to try to develop this as well. Now, for developing the second thing, guys, the second like a relation which we have discussed, we need to take the purpose over here onto the y-axis, and we can take default rate onto the x-axis. And this time, guys, I am not going to do all the formatting by my own. I just try to copy and put it over here. Okay. Now this looks good. Now I can see, guys, that for which purpose the default rate is actually high. Okay. Now you can see, guys, that for a small business. Okay. So for the small business, the default rate is actually high, and it is 25.6%. Now with this particular percent is actually too high, and now we can again, guys, by looking into this chart, by looking into this data, the client can clearly understand. Okay, so we can definitely try to put it in our suggestion, we can definitely try to put it in our advice, but even the client can understand that, okay, if the customer is coming for maybe some amount of a loan, and for maybe some small business, now that is a risky client. Now definitely, guys, there should be a multiple layer of verification should be done for that customer before approving their loan amount. Okay, so they can even ask for the higher interest rate. They can even try to they can try to do even a multiple cross verification. Whatever they needs to be do, they need to be do before approving their a loan. Okay, so that is, guys, a very important factor, a very important thing which we can observe over here. Okay. Similarly, guys, into the second a position, we are getting the renewable energy. I don't think that the renewable energy we can think of anything. And even, guys, we can even try to understand the reason that why into the small business we have more number of defaulters. Now, guys, first I want to understand from your end, like uh, what is uh, what is your thinking, like why we have more number of defaulters, let's say in this category, which is a small business. Yeah, guys, what do you think? Why we have more number of defaulters over here? Yeah, guys. Okay, so the very simple reason is that let's say if I talk about, if I don't try to go into like more of technicality and just try to understand the basic. So definitely, guys, let's say if I talk about any small business, so a small business maybe let's say the startup, or I can say that your, or let's say my idea about let's say something, and definitely we start with that let's say thinking that okay, we'll try to create maybe some sort of like a business which and which definitely requires, guys, people attention, which definitely requires let's say again the customers, or maybe maybe awareness or anything. And let's say if you are not able to make that much effort, or you're not able to make if you're not able to create that particular awareness, if you're not even able to let's say do a proper marketing or anything, and you're not able to ultimately, guys, if you're not able to run your business properly, okay, so in that case, guys, there's a clear chance that like you're not able to repay that particular amount of a loan which you have taken. Let's say even for a small business, guys, you can even take you can easily take a loan of, let's say, 10 to 20 lakh. Now that is definitely, guys, a very big amount. And if I talk about the interest rate for that particular amount is again going to be very high. Now definitely, guys, if you're not able to run your business, if you're not able to create that awareness, or let's say do the proper marketing or anything, now, for any of these reasons, guys, it is possible that you're not able to generate the kind of revenue you probably want to generate. And in that case, guys, after struggling maybe a year or two, you can you may shut up that business, or you may quit that business. And in that way, guys, you cannot able to repay the a complete amount. And even, guys, there are a lot of there a lot of such like a laws, or you can say that small business where even government is trying to help out. Government is trying to provide subsidy now, but actually it happens that many people are not able to run it properly, and then they actually shut it down. Okay, so this is what, guys, we can try to understand it from here. So you can see that definitely the bank can understand, or the organization can understand that giving a loan for a small business is very, very risky. Now that is where they can try to do the cross verification, double verification before giving a loan. After that, guys, if I talk about the other factors, so it can be the educational loan, a house loan, um, again other which is not listed, then moving, medical. Okay, and definitely, guys, you can see that the last 4 or 5 category, you can see that the categories where the default rate are actually less than 10%. Okay, so all around less than 11%. So that is car loan, credit card, major purchase, and wedding. Okay, so these are the like 4 or 5 loans, guys, where the percentage are actually low. Now, guys, there's one more thing that right now, guys, you can see that we have around maybe 10 or 12, or maybe 12 to 14 categories over here. And let's say, guys, anywhere, if I want to see, let's say the top 5 purposes, or top 10 purposes, or let's say top 7 purposes, where people are doing the default, or where the customers are doing the default. Because in this way, guys, let's say this particular chart is actually, guys, is actually having too much of categories over here. Now what we can do, guys, in that particular scenario, we can even try to apply the filter. Okay, so we can, let's say, if right now, guys, although we have just 12 or 14, so I can go on to the focus mode, and I can try to analyze it. But let's say in in a similar situation, if there's a 20 categories, or if there is a 25 categories, now that is where, guys, we actually require the filter as well. Okay, so let's say, guys, that if I talk about that top 7 like a purpose according to the default rate, or maybe top 10. So for that, guys, we can even try to use this filter pane over here. So what I can do, I can just try to open this filter, and I can try to apply the filter, guys, onto the purpose itself, and I want to take that top 5. So what we'll do, guys, we'll try to apply, let's say, the top n over here, and I can simply try to take, let's say, 7, and by value. Now, guys, into by value, I can try to drag and drop the default rate. Now, if I apply this filter, you'll see, guys, that what will happen over here. Okay, so you'll see, guys, that now we are getting that top 7 categories where the default rate are actually higher. And you can see guys that we are getting those categories where the default rate is greater than 15%. Okay, so even this is also making a lot of sense that you are trying to target, or you are trying to let's say label these categories as a risky one where the percentage or where the default rate is greater than 15%. Okay, is it clear guys to everyone? Yeah, these two charts guys are clear to everyone. Yeah. Okay, now let's go ahead, guys, and let's try to add, let's say, more information. Now, the next chart, guys, which we can try to use over here is going to be the scatter plot. Now, I can try to add a scatter plot over here. Now, into the scatter plot, guys, I can try to, let's say, analyze GTI versus when we using a scatter plot, guys. So just try to understand that in the first two chart guys, which is let's say the column chart or the bar chart, it is actually what we are doing, we are trying to take one value onto the x-axis, like the categorical data. So a categorical data on one axis and the numerical data on to the other axis. Okay, the same formula guys, or the same definition goes for the bar chart as well. But into that scatter plot guys, or if I talk about this scatter chart over here guys, the formula is a bit different. Okay, so into the scatter plot guys, we can on both the axes. Okay, so on x-axis and on y-axis, on both the axes guys, we have to take the numerical values only. So with the scatter chart guys, let's see that what column or what relation we can try to analyze. So we can actually analyze guys the GTI versus the default analysis. Okay, so what I will do, I will take GTI onto the x-axis, not the band, but the GTI value. Okay, onto the x-axis, and the total payment guys onto the let's say the y-axis. Okay, so there's a total payment. This is what we can take it onto the y-axis. Okay, after this guys, okay, so on the x-axis, y-axis, I think yeah, we have the legend. Now onto the legend guys, because if we want to differentiate on the base for the loan status, so there's a loan status column over here. Where is that? Yeah, so we can actually understand that default, non-default and all. So we can check the loan status over here into the, okay, into the legend actually. 1 second. Yeah. So we got three different like colors for that. And onto the size, guys, we can try to take the okay. This makes more sense. And let's try to play it with the size. Now let's see. Okay, now let me just copy the same formatting over here and then we'll try to understand it. Yeah. Now let's see guys that what is happening over here. So we can actually see guys that over here we are getting three kind of a customer we have into our data set. One is the charge of customer guys. Now the charge of customer we are trying to denote with the dark blue color. Okay, and we can even try to change these colors guys. Okay, so I will definitely try to change it. Then a sky blue color for the current customer. Now we don't want to discuss right now about the current customers. And then guys, we have the fully paid customer. Now guys, let's see the gap between the fully paid and the charge of customer, because over here guys, the information which we have taken, so you can see guys that into the size we have taken the sum of total payment, and you can see guys that as soon as okay, so if just let me first remove it, guys. So you can see, guys, that right now the size of all these bubbles, or if I talk about the size of all these the categories are actually remain same. Okay, but as soon as I try to drag this total payment and drop it inside the size, you can see that guys, the size for this orange one is actually increases, which indicates guys that because guys over here we have taken the sum of total payment. Okay, means the payment or the amount which is actually received. Okay, so you can definitely check guys that what is happening over here, that this is the category of the customer who fully paid the amount. And you can see guys that if I talk about the sum of loan amount over here, so you can check that number. Definitely the numbers are very high over here, but yeah. And definitely guys, the total payment, okay, so sum of total payment guys is actually higher than whatever the loan they have taken, because definitely guys it also includes the interest rate value. Okay, and the sum of DTI. So sum of DTI guys, we don't want it over here. I think we can change it to the average DTI. So now guys, with average DTI, you can see guys that for this like for these customers, the average DTI is 0.13, which means guys that the debt to income percentage is 0.13, which is fine. Now guys, if I talk about these customer who are actually charged off, now for these customer guys, if you try to talk about the average DTI, it is slightly greater than guys what is there for the fully paid customer. And then guys, if I talk about the sum of loan amount, okay, so it is definitely guys I think this number is around 6 crore or maybe more. Okay, so but guys, if you try to compare guys the sum of total payment, it is definitely guys very less than whatever the loan amount they have actually received. Okay, so if we want, we can even try to calculate it. Okay, so if we just try to calculate this whole thing, we'll observe that the difference over here. So we'll see guys that the difference of the payment is let's say, okay, so the difference guys between these two is actually 2 crore. Okay, so 2 crore, or you can say that 28 million in total. Okay, so that's the difference guys, we are getting it over here. And definitely this is a very huge like amount, which definitely the organization don't want to lose. Okay, but definitely they are not able to like I can say that these customers they like actually didn't repay that that particular amount, which is approximately around 3 crore. Okay, but over here guys, if I talk about this like these customers, so definitely guys over here the total payment is actually higher than whatever the loan amount they have taken, and because definitely the interest rate is actually added into that. Okay, so you can see the gap over here guys. Okay, so you can simply able to detect that risky borrower. Although guys the difference between the average GTI is not like too high. Okay, because the average DTI over here is 0.13 and over here it is 0.14. But yeah, you can see that gap of like 0.01%, and that gap is actually enough in this case to create that like a difference. Okay, because if I talk about the difference on the monetary level, so that is too high guys. Okay, so it is approximately around 3 crore. Okay, so 3 crore is actually a very big amount which like company is probably, or the organization is not able to like recover because the customer has done the default. Okay, is that clear guys to everyone till this part? Yeah, clear guys, any doubt or like question to anyone? Yeah guys. Okay, now one last chart, guys, I can try to create. That is again because till now we didn't analyze the let's say the a month or year or anything. Okay, now we can even try to check, guys, that in which month like more like a loans has been assigned or more loans has been given, and even we can check the default rate over there. So let's try to analyze it. So over here, I can try to again use this cluster sorry, the clustered column chart. And what we can try to do is we can try to bring the, let's say, the issue date over here. And we can try to again, guys, check the default rate. Okay. Now we can just try to get rid of all these columns. So we'll get this data in terms of the month only. Now I can use the format painter, apply it over here. Now let's see the output. So you can see, guys, that what is happening over here. Now again, guys, the if I talk about the default rate, guys, so you can see that in which month the default rate is actually highest. Okay, so you can clearly observe, guys, that in the month of May the default rate is actually highest. It means that whatever and even it is 100%, guys. Okay, so whatever like the total number of like loans taken in this month May, all those loans are actually all those customers, guys, actually do the default. Okay. Then the second month, guys, which is where we have the highest a default rate, is actually February. Then we have July. Then we have August. Then we have November, and then September and October. Okay, so you can see, guys, that you can even try to analyze this default rate month wise. Okay, so if I try to analyze this default rate, guys, month wise, so you can see that the maximum default rate or the maximum default are actually happening in the month of May or February. Okay, so definitely, guys, compare if I compare it, so comparatively, guys, like the month is actually having 100% of default rate, which is too high. Okay, but definitely, guys, if I talk about the other, because, guys, you can see that there are few months which is not coming over here, we are not getting data for June. It means there may be no default happening in that in that June month. Then simply, guys, similarly we have January and December over here. But yeah, guys, all these months which is appearing right now, in these months, if the loan has been taken, so there is like some chance of the default. Okay, and the maximum chance, guys, is actually in the month of May and Feb. Okay, so this is what, guys, we can actually observe. And again, all these four information, guys. Okay, so four charts we have developed over here, and we can clearly understand, guys, all these four charts. All these four information will be very, very important for the client to understand, guys, that how where the risk is actually high, because all these four chart, guys, actually gives you the scenario that about a risk status. And definitely by using these a chart, by using this information, the customer can try to understand that when they can approve the application, when they approve the loan application, and in what maybe the scenarios, or in with what criteria they can even try to reject the application. Okay, is it clear, guys, to everyone? All the four charts which we have developed are over here, and the kind of information which we are getting. Yeah, any doubt or query, guys, to anyone? Okay, guys. So fine. I think now we'll try to create another page where we'll try to discuss about the customer profile. Okay, we'll try to analyze the customer, let's say, the profiles. Okay, and I think one more guys page we require where we can try to analyze, let's say, the uh, maybe around something we can try to create around the financial performance. Okay, so these two we can try to create after I think this. Now I think I will take a small break, guys, and then after the break we'll try to create the other two pages. Okay, about definitely, guys, because what kind of a customers we have so far, that is definitely very important to understand. Okay, and apart from that, guys, or along with that, how the how the company is going on, based on the like a financial performance and all. That is also something which we can try to figure it out. Okay, so let's take a short break and then we'll try to create the remaining pages over here. Okay, guys, coming back. So let's continue, guys, from here. Okay, so I will simply name it as the risk analysis. Okay. Now guys, yeah, let's go ahead and let's try to analyze like more things, like more like valuable information from this data set. Now, as I told you guys, the next thing which we can try to analyze or which we can try to discuss is about what kind of a customers we have like so far into our data set. So the next thing, guys, is about the customer profile analysis. Okay. Now for this, guys, what we can do, we can try to again try to create the chart, guys, to understand like what kind of or I can say, guys, that what kind of a what kind of a customer, guys, we majorly have. Okay. Now, in that case, guys, and even guys, for these like things, we have actually created the columns like income band and all. So what we'll do, we'll try to check, guys, that like into our data set whether we have more like high income like customers, or whether we have more mid income customer, or whether we have, let's say, low income customers. Okay. Now for that, guys, what I will do, I will create a tree map over here. So there's a tree map we have into our Power BI. Now within the tree map, guys, since there are just three categories, now it is really easy to analyze this like this. So we have created, guys, this income band. I can simply try to drag and drop it inside the category. Okay. And definitely, guys, we can try to now check that, because this is simply the category. Now we can try to even check, guys, that where more like a loan has been concentrated. So whether more loans have been given to the higher income group, or a mid income group, or maybe the, let's say, low income group. Now for that, guys, there are two things which we can try to take over here. The one is we can try to take that loan amount. Okay. Or we can even try to take a count of like loans. Okay, so that if I want to just get the number. Okay. So let's say if I do this, so we'll get to know, guys, that like for which particular category of customer more amount of a loan has been disbursed. Okay, so if I talk about, guys, the stream app, you can see that I think we have maybe a similar like a number or similar amount of a loan has been disbursed for not similar, I think more like loan amount has been disbursed for a mid income category like customers. Then slightly lower, but yeah, a good amount of a loan has been like given to high income like a category customers. And we can even check, guys, for the low income category customers. So least amount of a loan has been dispersed for the low income category customer. Okay. So this is what, guys, we can try to understand it from here. Again, this is the very first chart on this page. So this can be again, guys, this can be format. We can do the formatting over here. We can even to check, guys, one more thing, like as I told you that we can even talk about the loan the count over here. So we can try to drag the ID instead of sum. We can try to take the count over here. And in this way, guys, we can even check that out of like 38,000 like total application, guys, has been approved so far. Out of that 38.5 thousand, 19,000, guys, application has been approved for the mid income like category customers. Then 10,000 has been approved for high income. And if I talk about, guys, the low income, so just 8,000 application has been approved for the low income category customers. Okay. Now even, guys, over here we can even try to make a slicer, and we can try to check that although you have this like a differentiation, definitely you can see here that more like a loan amount has been given to the mid income category customers. um, and a list amount has been dispersed, or list a loan amount has been given to the low income category customer. But even guys, we can add the slicer and we can see that in which category we have more number of defaulters. So whether we have more number of defaulter in low income category or high income category, or let's say the mid income category. Okay. Now for a timing guys, right now we're just trying to analyze the customer profile. So I can simply try to make some formatting over here. So we can try to remove that category. Okay, sorry, I think into the title it is already on. So sum of loan amount, I think by income band. So I can just try to change it to this. Instead of sum of loan amount, it can be simply written as loan amount. Okay, by income band. Okay, 1 second. Okay, now this makes more sense. I can make it bold. I can change the text color to blue, and I can bring it into the middle. Now that this is fine, and this makes a lot of sense. We can also try to do guys one more thing, that data labels can be on, so that the number should be visible over there. And along with that, guys, I think that yeah, this is fine. We can just try to maybe make it bold, and so that it should be visible. And the other things guys are actually fine. Okay, so you can see guys that the gap also. So for the mid-income category, like if I talk about it, so 210 million loan amount has been given to the mid-income category customers, whereas 168 million like a loan amount has been given to the high income category customers, and 58 million loan amount has been given to the low income category customers. Okay, so this is what guys we can actually understand from this particular data set. Okay, is it clear guys to everyone? I guess that it's a very simple like a chart we have created to understand that like where our the loan is actually concentrated through to which income level. Okay, and you can see guys that definitely more loan amount has been given to the mid income category customers. Okay, is it clear guys to everyone? Yeah, is it done for everyone guys, this free map chart? Now guys, again, since we try to analyze the customer profile over here, so in this case guys, the next chart which we can try to create is maybe around the employment length, and we have already created guys that employment length like a column. We have already changed that into the numbers. So now guys, the next chart we can try to prepare is about the employment length. So I can again try to drag this clustered column chart over here. Okay. And I can try to take guys the employment length on let's say the axis. So we have this employment length. We can try to drag it onto the x-axis. And we can see guys that for which like a customer more like a loan has been given. So I can take this ID, and this count of ID can be taken onto the y-axis. Now this gives me guys some sort of information that and one more second guys, let me just try to use a format painter so that these numbers are visible. Yeah, I can see guys that uh, for let's say with 0.5 years of an experience, okay, means less than 1 year of an experience, you can see that how much application has been actually has been approved in that category. Okay, so you can see guys that maximum loan application has been approved for these customers where the employment length is actually 10. Okay, so I can even say guys that even 10 plus we have actually converted to the 10. So it means, guys, that if the employment length means if the customer is actually having the working experience or working in an organization or in a firm for maybe 10 years, okay, like let's say from the last 10 years or maybe more than 10 years. So in that case, guys, the chances of like your application will be approved is actually high. This is what we are actually getting at like over here. Then in the second place, guys, we have like less than 1 year experience, 2 year experience. Then we have 3 year experience, and then after that, guys, the numbers are actually decreases. Okay, so you can see that it start decreasing. Like with 4 year experience it becomes 3000, then with 5 year it becomes 3200, then with 6 years it becomes 2200. Okay, so we have more number of application, guys, if I talk about it. So more number of loan applications are actually coming from those customer who are already working from, let's say, like 10 year or more than 10 years, or maybe from the completely different group where we can see that where the experience are very low. Okay, definitely, guys, in the middle like years, maybe I can say from 4 year to 9 year, the applications are actually. So, guys, in this case, we can say that the more application has been like received either from the customer who are having a very high experience, or either from a customer who are having a very low experience. Okay, so or let's say I can say let's say, guys, less than 4 years of experience, because you can see, guys, that after 4 years of experience, that number of application are actually start decreasing. Okay, so 3.4, 3.3, then it slightly it decreases, guys, with 2.2, 1.8, and so far. Okay, so this is what, guys, we can actually understand from this like a column chart. Now again, guys, for both of these charts which we have prepared over here, if I just try to add one slicer where I can try to bring that loan status, or let's say the default rate, it gives you a more information about where the chances of like a default are actually higher. Okay, so let's say, guys, along with this two chart, if I just try to add one slicer over here, so let's try to include it over here, guys. Okay, so I can just try to add the slicer, and for this slicer, guys, over here I can simply try to drag it onto the right corner. Now over here, guys, if I just try to drag the loan status over here, now there are three like categories we already know. Now if I want to see, guys, the fully paid customer, okay. So first, guys, let's try to understand this loan amount by income band column. So if I just click on that fully paid, guys, so initially, guys, you can see that for mid income, initially it is 167 million. Now it reduces to, sorry, 200 million. Now it reduces to 167. And definitely, guys, the amount for others also actually decreases over here. Okay. For the mid income, for the high income, and even for the like a low income. Okay. Now, if I just talk about, guys, the charged off over here, let's see what will happen. Now, in that charged off, guys, you can see, guys, that from the mid income category, you can see that, guys, the what is the count of like a charge off. So 2700, guys, charge off customer we have over here. Whereas if I talk about the high income, so 1100 charge off customers are there. And if I talk about low income, guys, so 1436 charge off customers are there, guys. Okay. Now definitely, guys, they are even larger in numbers. So like the percentages are the numbers are actually higher over here, because even more you can see. Okay, so let me show you that. Let's say definitely, guys, the total count also over here is 19,000, which is definitely greater than the 10,000 and 8,000 respectively. Okay, so that's also, guys, if I just talk about with respect to the numbers, we are not getting like a lot of information. Now in that case, guys, that's the reason, guys, we have created that default rate. Okay, so in that case, guys, either we can even try to drag the default rate also into that tooltip, where we can see that in terms of percentage, that how many like what is a like a chart, what is the default rate for a different income band category. Okay, and the same guys goes for the employment length. So you can see guys that definitely we have more number of like customer like for this particular years of experience, like 10 or 10 plus. And that is also one reason guys that why we have more number of charge of customers over here. You can see that 1322. Okay, and definitely guys you can even check that same thing for let's say less than 1 years of experience and 1 year of experience. Okay, so in this case guys definitely the loan status we can definitely take, but in order to get a better information, in order to get a better like a result, we can actually try to add this default rate which is there into this tooltip. Okay, because into the tooltip guys you can add as much information you want. Now over here guys, if I just try to hover on it, you can see that the default rate for the mid income category, it is 14%. The default rate for high income category is 10.9%, and the default rate guys for the low income category, it is, you can see guys that it is 17%. Okay, now definitely guys it makes a lot of sense, because definitely guys these customers who are actually belonging to the low income category, which means guys that their income is even less than 40,000. Now definitely guys from these customers we cannot expect, they definitely they already have let's say a lot of other burdens, financial burden. They even don't have like guys, let's say the financial stability with that 40,000. Now in that, there's a definitely there's a more chance that these customer will make a default. Okay, now already guys a very less amount of a loan has been given to these customer. Now what we can suggest that definitely you can even try to decrease this number, or maybe yeah you can try to do a multiple verification again, or maybe with the higher interest rate you can try to give like a loan to these customer, because the chances of making a default from this customer from low income category is definitely very high. Okay, so if you compare guys, definitely 14%, 10%, for 11%, and here is a 17%. Okay, now similarly guys you can do the exactly the same task for this employment length, because again guys since the count is high, so the if I just rely onto the count of charged off, so then definitely it will be high. Okay, but if I really want to understand the insight over here, if I really want to analyze this, so for that guys we can again just try to drag this default rate and drop it inside the tooltips. Now this will give you a more better picture guys. So now if I just take it on a focus mode, and now let's try to see the default rate guys for each of the employment length. Okay, now guys for less than 1 year the default rate is 13.8%, which is similar to what we have originally into the entire data set. Now guys you can see there is this default rate is actually same for even 1 years of experience. Now guys it actually decreases for with 2 years of experience. It decreases no, it even actually increases guys with 3 years of experience. It means guys that you're not getting any like a trained information. Okay, so I cannot say that with a more year of experience we cannot assume that the default rate will actually decrease. Okay, because you can see guys that with the 2 years of experience it decreases to 12.8%, but then again it increases to 13.4%. Now again with 4 years of experience it's 13.2. It means guys that even after so many years of experience, even after working let's say for multiple years in a Okay, guys, really sorry. I think that there's some serious like issue into my system. So it's automatically getting shut down. Okay, so and that's the reason I think, guys, that the four charts which we have developed is not like actually saved. Okay, but you don't need to worry, guys, about that. I think like those who are already like right now into the session, you guys have already created it. And even guys, for me, it takes again a very less time to create it again. Okay, so I will update that all the three pages into that drive. Okay. Okay. So, fine, guys. I think this is what we are actually trying to understand it over here. That what is the different, let's say, the default rate for, let's say, the different with the different employment length, and this is what, guys, we are discussing. That again with the let's say default rate is actually not decreasing with the increase in let's say the employment length, and rather it is increasing, guys. Okay, so if you see the number over here, so with 7 years of experience, the count is very low, but the default rate is 14.8%. Now it again becomes 13.6%, then 12.4%, and over here, guys, it is I guess maximum, that is 15%. Okay, which is 14.9%, so 15% approximately. It means, guys, that definitely even after working for like many years in a organization or in a firm, these are like a customers. Okay, so the customers are not able to, let's say, create or make that financial stability, and that is what we can observe over here, guys, into the chart. That even after like with increase in year, we cannot see that decrease into the default rate. Okay, so default rate is also, let's say, sometimes it is same or sometimes it is actually increasing. Okay. um Now, guys, I think till here every one of you already prepared like your pages. Okay, so I think page one, page two, and into the page three, these two charts are actually done, guys, for everyone. Any doubt or any like a question to anyone, guys, so far? Yeah, guys. Okay. Now, guys, let's try to create a two chart by yourself. Okay. So I actually want you to create at least two chart by yourself over here. So one chart, guys, you can try to prepare is the pie chart, where you have to where you have to like take the verification status analysis. Means the number of like application where the status is verified, or the number of application where the status is non-verified, or maybe the source verified. So for that, guys, I want you to analyze this thing. Means the verification status with the number of application. I want you to analyze this thing with a pie chart, the first thing. The second, guys, you have to create like let's say the ribbon chart. Okay, so the ribbon chart is also there. Now this is again this is a new one, but it's again very simple. So this is what you can try to create to analyze the loan amount by purpose. Okay, so just to understand that for which purpose maximum amount of a loan has been dispersed. Okay, so I will write it also, guys, in the chat box. Just try to create this true chart by yourself. Okay, so first you have to analyze the verification status by let's say status I can say with the pie chart. Second, I want you to, guys, analyze the loan amount by purpose. Okay, with the, let's say, river. Okay, guys, so I have also written inside the chat. Now, guys, please try to create these two charts by yourself. Do it, guys, everyone. Yeah, guys. Anyone who has prepared both the charts? Okay, so the pie chart for the verification status analysis, and then the loan amount by purpose. Yeah, guys. Okay, done for Alicia. Anyone else, guys, who has done it? Okay, so I guess the first one is really simple, where you just need to take verification status on to the legend. And then I told you that anything you can probably take on, let's say, onto the values, I can take the count of ID, and we can easily observe that where this percent is actually higher. So you can see, guys, that maximum number of customers like for whom the loan is actually approved, they are non-verified, 43%. 32% customer guys are actually verified, whereas 25% customers are actually source verified. Okay. Now the next thing is, I told you about the ribbon chart, where I told you that you can try to track the major funding category. So for that you can try to take let's say the purpose. So it is very much similar, guys, to that column chart itself. So let's say that purpose onto the x-axis, and then our loan amount, we have one column over here which we can take it on to the y-axis. And then again, guys, over here you can take like some information more, like we have the loan status over here, so this can be taken on to the legend. Okay, now this can be enhanced, and you can see, guys, that what is happening over here. So right now, guys, definitely we are getting the number over here. So this is the like for definitely, guys, the major amount of like loan has been taken for the debt consolidation. And if you see, guys, the status also, so major amount of like loan, guys, is actually even fully paid. You can see, guys, that that the amount has been taken, and you can see, guys, that you can see that the major portion, or you can see, guys, that most of the customer has even fully paid the amount. Then we have like the charge of customer, guys, over here. So these the customer are actually done the charge off, means they didn't repay the amount. So they have taken the loan for the debt cancellation, but they didn't repay it. Then the second category, guys, over here is a credit card. So after the debt cancellation, the main purpose for which the customer has taken the loan is the credit card. Okay, means maybe to uh, repay the credit card like amount, okay, whatever they have utilized. And in that case, guys, you can see that the charge of customer also. Okay, similarly, guys, you can see, guys, that over here, if you just try to drag a little bit on the right hand side, so you can see that like multiple like values over here, like the debt cancellation fully paid, if I talk about it. So it is like we're getting some value over there. Let's say it is maybe 18 crore. Okay. And then, guys, going forward, the credit card fully paid, if I talk about, so it is maybe 5 crore. Okay. And the sum of loan amount, guys, which is actually changed, guys, like from the first one to the second one, it is 72, or like minus 72%. Okay, and that is completely fine, guys. So 73% actually. It means, guys, that major amount of a loan has been given for the debt cancellation, or has been taken for the debt cancellation. Then on the second position we have the credit card. Then on the third position, guys, we have the like the home improvement. Now this is the third major purpose for which the customer has taken the loan. And you can see guys that we already observed that where the default rate is actually high, that is actually higher in a small business. And you can see guys that if you closely trying to observe this blue line over here, okay, if you closely trying to observe this blue line, so you can see guys that it is quite lower and even getting down for the home improvement. It means that the number of charge of customer is quite low for this category. Okay, but initially, but you can see guys that for the small business guys, this particular line is actually increasing. Okay, so the thickness is increasing over here. It means guys that definitely we have more charge of customer over here. Means and that is what we already observed, that the default rate is actually higher for the small business. Okay, and this is the fifth major. You can see guys that this is if I go into a descending order. So a small business is the fifth major purpose for which the customer has taken the loan. Okay. So definitely guys, it means that a lot of loan amount has been disbursed for this particular purpose, and but the customer has done the default like over here. Okay. So if you just try to look at the total loan amount which has been dispersed, so it is around again 66 lakh. Okay, and you can see that around 22% default we already discussed. Okay, which has been there. Okay, so even guys, many so 66 lakh guys has been defaulted over here. And you can see guys that even definitely a lot of amount has been fully paid also. So you can see that number over here. So it is around 1 crore 61 lakh. This is what fully paid. And 66 lakh guys has been defaulted. Okay. Then you can see guys all these things into the other categories as well. Okay. So definitely guys, since the more like a loan has been taken for the debt cancellation, so in that case definitely the maximum like amount of charge, the maximum charge of amount will also come from the particular category. Okay, so that's not making this as a high default rate. Okay, and this is what guys we will already observe into our second page, where we see that the default rate is actually highest for the small business. Okay. So this is what guys we actually asked like you to create. I think if you just try to add loan status onto the legend, then it gives you like more information and start making more sense over here. Okay. So yeah, guys, I think all these four charts on this particular like a report page is clear to everyone. Anyone having any like a doubt or like a question till now, guys, from the first, second, and third page? Yeah, guys. Okay, now is definitely you can try to utilize a different pages for like creating this chart. But let me tell you guys that even it is possible to accommodate let's say at least six chart on a single page. So if anytime you feel that okay, maybe there's a lot of space now, what we'll do with that space. So if you're not understanding any slicer now, definitely this is a kind of like a kind of a problem statement guys, where maybe 10 slicers can also be added. Okay, so including all the three or four pages which like whatsoever we are going to create, definitely like a 10 slicer, like in total 10 slicer or maybe 8 slicers can be added. But still guys, if you think that this piece is actually left or the vacant, so right now guys I'm creating this thing in a live class. So that's why guys, although guys definitely still the most of the things are looks manageable or like a pretty good, but still if you think that okay, like the adjustment we are not able to do, and that is not possible guys in a live class, because then it will take more time into the classroom itself. So that is what guys you can try to do like at home, and even I can try to like perform into my system, that the one guys which I have shown you like at the starting of the session. Okay, so in a similar way guys, you can also try it out and make a concise report of, let's say, you can try to just concise it in just 3 pages or maybe like a 2 pages, if there's a possibility. Okay, Now, guys, one last chart which we can try to add it over here is is what we can call as a table where we can try to bring let's say multiple information we can try to bring at a single place. Okay, and guys, tomorrow I think this just one more requirement we have with this like a problem statement, that I will also talk about the AI AI influence chart over here, which can give you like a lot of more information. Okay, so like before wrapping up this session, guys, one more like a chart I will try to add it over here, which is a matrix. We also call it as a like correlation matrix or heat map matrix. Now, with this heat map matrix, guys, let's see that what we can do. We can try to add multiple information over here. So I can try to take, guys, a grade over here, which definitely there are multiple grades over here. So we can try to take it into the rows. Now there are 6 grades we have. Then on the column, guys, we can try to take, let's say, the term. And onto the values, guys, we can take the, okay, so this is what, guys, we have not analyzed yet. So we can try to take the average of interest rate. Okay, now this, with this, guys, we can try to check that what is maybe the interest rate for let's say the different like customers over here. Now let me first try to change the style so that it should like looks better. Okay, yeah, this is good. The values, I can try to increase the size over here. Okay, and definitely, guys, the size for the columns can also be increased to, let's say, 14. And similarly, guys, the for the column also it should be increased. Okay, I think yeah, column header we have over here. Now this can be 13, 14, whatever, make it bold. And this is fine. Now let me just take it on to the focus mode. Let's see. Now, guys, we can see that where we have, let's say, what is a different kind of interest rate like the company is trying to apply. And this is the average interest rate, guys, for a different grade. Okay, so you can see, guys, that if I talk about a grade A, now over here, guys, you can see that if I talk about the average interest rate and total, comparing both 36 month or maybe even if they are taking the loan for like a 60 month, you can see, guys, that the average interest rate over here is a 0 point or I can say, guys, that a 7%. Okay. Yeah, this can be multiplied with 100. So yeah, 7%, guys, that is the interest rate for grade A customer. And this is also, guys, one of the reason why these customers are having less number of defaulters, because they are definitely, because of this small interest rate, they are able to like repay the amount. Whereas, guys, if I talk about these grade G customer, guys, now for these grade G customer, you can see, guys, the interest rate, and this is the average interest rate. This is 21.4%. Okay. Now, definitely, guys, if you're asking for 21.4% of the interest rate, now it is definitely, guys, bit difficult for the customer to repay the amount, because it actually like produces, let's say, that burden onto the customer, and then that is one of the main reason why they're not able to repay the amount and become a defaulter. Okay, so this is like one of the reason, guys, we are saying. Similarly, if I talk about, guys, this F grade, you can see that the average interest rate over there is 19.7%. If I talk about, guys, grade D customer, it is 15.7%. If I talk about grade C, guys, it is 13.5%. And for grade A and for grade B, guys, it is 7% and 11% respectively. Now, definitely, guys, for the first two grades, A and B, the interest rate is actually very low, and that is one of the main reason why they are able to repay the amount. And definitely, guys, for the other grades, or let's say for the lower grades, which is D, E, A, E, F, Now these like customer guys are actually for these customers the interest rate is actually very high, and this is one of the reason why they're not able to make a payment on time or during the default. So let's say guys, this is actually the connection between this particular chart which we have created over here, and then now this chart which we are trying to create over here. So that guys, actually this is what we discussed, that in a analysis when we try to divide into four different types of analysis. So we try to talk about something called as a diagnostic analysis, which means that if anything is happening, if you're getting any relationship, so it is important to understand that why that relationship is existing. Okay, now this is the answer guys of that particular why. Okay, so if someone is trying to understand that why this is happening, so this is one of the key reason why we are having more defaulters in a grade A like a customer. Now in a similar way guys, so you can actually understand that interest rate is one of the important factor. Now in a similar way guys, since we observe that there's a more number of defaulters in a I can say what with the purpose of small business, we have more number of defaulters in a rental like a case. Now I can try to check guys the same thing for those customers. Okay, so let's say if I just try to add the purpose also over here, but again guys, this chart will be a bit larger in that case. But still, if I try to just add one more, let's say the purpose. Now again guys, there's a grade A and then there's a purpose. Now again guys, it is actually coming along with the grade A, so it is a bit difficult. Let me just try to remove it and now add it. Now let's see guys that what is happening over here. So if I talk about it guys, let's see that where the interest rate is actually higher, okay, or highest. Now I think it is highest guys in I think 11%. I can think guys it is same some everywhere. Only 13%. Yeah. So you can see guys that is small business interest rate is 13%. So if you compare guys the other categories or the other purpose, over there guys the interest rate is like 10%, 11%, 12%. Okay, so 12.5% is also high, which is for the debt consolidation. Okay, we are not denying it, but the maximum interest rate guys is actually this with the small business. Okay, so we can clearly observe guys over here. Now this is what the information we can definitely share with our client, that interest rate is definitely one of the major factor why you have like more number of defaulters. Okay, why like more like your customers are probably doing the default, because the interest rate guys are actually higher. And you can observe guys that there are two things we have actually discussed earlier, and for both the thing guys, we are actually finding out that the interest rate is one of the main factor. Now this is again guys, so now from the connection guys, we can derive that suggestion that I can suggest my client that okay, you can try to reduce your interest rate so that this probably will not happen with the in a continuation, or this probably will not happen in a future. So this is because this is one of the main reason why they are doing the default. Okay, is it clear guys to everyone? The way we are trying to make a connection over here. Yeah, is it clear guys to everyone? Any doubt to anyone? Guys, Alisha, Divya, Lakshmi. Okay, so now guys, just one request. Okay, so I will update it like into your drive also. But yeah, let's say if any one of you are creating along with me, and if you have completed all the three pages, just a rough one also. So you guys can anyone of you can take that initiative and probably share with me if you have completed till like all the three. Okay. So fine guys, that's all for today. Thank you so much. And guys, please try to do all the adjustment and try to complete this like a report. Okay, so till the three pages. Okay, so that we just include one last page like in tomorrow's session, and we'll wrap up this particular case study. Okay, So yeah, guys, please complete it, and because even guys, you can even one or two of you can even try to show me your like pages, okay? Because I will show you guys that this is how like the students are even try to put these dashboards or the reports on their LinkedIn profile and the other profiles, which definitely gives them guys a lot of engagement. Okay. So yeah, so you guys can also try to do it like later on after the session. But yeah, if just try to get some time and do all the adjustment and definitely it's like any one of you, if you want to show, you can definitely show me. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Good night. Bye bye.